Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Adaptable Octopus. Last week I talked about my daughter, but we have a special guest today, my son, and we're going to talk about how he grew up and what he thinks about growing up with a mom with cerebral palsy and what he's gained from it. So I would like to introduce Lucas, my son.
Here I am. Good to be
How
here. Glad to be on one of your podcasts, Mom.
Thank you. Um, I couldn't ask for a better son. So, what is one thing that is beneficial um to having a mom with cerebral palsy that otherwise you wouldn't have learned or experienced?
I mean, to be honest, my life doesn't feel any different than, just because you're disabled, it doesn't feel special, if that makes sense. It's kind of just you're my mom and that's the way it is. Um, I'm sure there's a lot of gain from it, but it's not something I consciously think about, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, you were talking earlier about how you are more compassionate, like you look out for people in a different way. Can you talk about that for a second?
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say it's more compassion. I think I'm just more aware. I'm always trying to look out, and I think that's just something that was taught to me through everything. Like you were talking about going down the steps or having to cut up your food. I kind of just do it because that's what I'm used to. So even in my relationship with Libby, I kind of am more aware, trying to take care of her on simple things like that. Just simple stuff is helping, holding the door open or when we're walking somewhere, making sure she's still there next to me or, just stuff like that, subconscious stuff. I don't really think about it. I
Yeah.
don't, I don't know if that's something everybody experiences or just a me thing, but it's something that, that I could see is I've learned or gained from it.
Yeah. Like I was talking to you earlier. I Cerebral palsy was never discussed even when you were growing up. It is just now that I'm realizing why I do something, but I've always just naturally done it because that's the way it worked for me.
And that's just the way
Like,
it's been for me, I never thought that I have a disabled mother, so I've gotta act differently or I grew up differently. I really don't feel like that, even though you are technically disabled. I don't think we acted like you were disabled, if that makes sense. We still did all the same things. You taught me how to ride a bike. We went to the park. I don't think it was really a hinder or a holdback in me growing up just because you're disabled. It never really got to you or never something I thought about, and
yeah,
it feels weird to say that I have a disabled mom because to me, you're really not, you're just my mom.
yeah. I know you're pretty serious with Libby now, and she knows me and just automatically helps me like you do. But what did that conversation look like, or did you even have a conversation
I
before
don't
you introduced Libby to me?
No, it really wasn't something that I brought up. I mean, yeah, I probably mentioned it in a conversation, and she, to people that don't grow up with it, she probably looks at it like some crazy thing. I mean, because you see people with cerebral palsy in wheelchairs and, or kind of, and I wouldn't say unfunctional, but struggle getting around. And I don't think people realize that there's differences to it. But I think she probably thinks about it more than I do in that sense of helping you, with your shoes and stuff. But
Yeah,
it's never been a problem where she's like mentioning that you're disabled or whatever. I don't think she looks at you any differently because of it, to be
yeah.
honest.
What we're doing is like there's so many different um forms of disabilities, even cerebral palsy. So it's not one size fits all. Um It all looks different, but it all needs to be understood.
Yeah. So you're trying to be a voice for everything.
Yeah.
Now, what about you? Let me ask you about you,
Okay.
being a disabled mother, did you ever feel like you couldn't perform to what you were expected to because of your disability? Did you ever look at other moms and been like, "Man, I wish I could do that," or, "If I didn't have this holding me back, I would be there." Did that ever was that ever a thing
Hon
for you?
Honestly, yes. When you were born, I was so afraid that I stayed with my mom for like 3 months. And even today, when you're grown, I look at you now and I think, what an incredible man. But I still wish I was able to do different, feel different. I hate that you had, to see me lay in the bed or like I couldn't do anything because I was in pain. That bothered me. One of the worst times as a mom is when y'all had to come visit me in the hospital. I felt like I was unable or unfit. So I beat myself up like that.
Yeah. But I mean, you felt that way, but to me, like I said, I never really noticed it, if that makes sense. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but I never felt different because of it, you know?
Yeah.
I never was like, "Man, I wish my mom could do that with me," because I feel like we did everything.
Well, thank you. Today's Mother's Day, so thank you for being here, and this is the best present ever. Before we go, because I'm gonna ask you, what is the best part of having me as a mom?
That you're here, you know? I can always I got somebody I can always call and say, "Hey, mom, this is what's going on." Or if I ever, I know you're just right down the street and I can, just knowing you're here, knowing I still got a mom, that's a blessing in itself.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, and I am proud of everything that you accomplished. And I will always be here, and I will always fight to be the best mom for both of y'all. That's all we can do as a mother. Just be the best version of you that you can. It's a blessing when your child loves you just for being you. Happy Mother's Day. Remember to keep being adaptable and keep thriving. Until next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Adaptable Octopus. If you enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can listen on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you love to stream. And if you have a moment, leave a review or share the podcast with someone who might enjoy it too. Your support means the world and helps grow this amazing community. Until next time, keep adapting, keep thriving, and take care.